Hello YouTube, Axel from Bandit Geeks, coming at you with a deck profile for my Cyber Dragons. So first up in the deck, we obviously have 3 Cyber Dragons. This is the main monster in the main deck. Obviously its effect is if your opponent controls a monster, you can just special summon it from your hand, which means I tend to go second if I have the choice, because then I can tend to get this out first turn, and it's nice to have a stronger monster first turn. Next up, we have 3 Galaxy Soldiers. I run these at 3 because they search themselves when they're special summoned, and you just special summon them by sending 1 light monster from hand to grave, so you can get 2 on field. The search is only once per turn though, so if you do summon a second one, you can't search again. Next, we have 3 Cyber Dragon Dries. This is useful because obviously you can just normal summon it without tribute because it's level 4, but then it makes all Cyber Dragons currently on the field level 5, meaning it's good for overlays, which the extra deck does a lot of. Then we have 3 Cyber Dragon Veers. It is Tretis Cyber Dragon on the field, so the Dry would also level this up to level 5. And if a Cyber Dragon is special summoned except during the damage phase, you can special summon this from your hand, so that's a way to get 2 monsters on the field very quickly. We then have 3 Cyber Dragon Cores. This just allows you to search for a cyber spell or trap card, which is always useful because a lot of the trap cards or spell cards in this allow you to search, which means you can get the monsters you want out rather than the ones that you just get out naturally. We then just have 2 Cyber Dragon Zwei, however you say it. This one is just against 300 attack during the damage step if it attacks an opponent's monster. And if you reveal a spell card, it becomes Cyber Dragon. So that's just in there again for the overlays or fusioning. Then we have a singular Cyber Dragon Nashter. However you pronounce this one as well, because, you know, stupid names. This one just becomes Cyber Dragon when on the field or in the grave, and you can discard one of a monster and special summon this from your hand. And you can target 1 machine with 200 attack or defense in your graveyard and special summon it. But you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, except machine monsters, which is what all these cards are. We also have a singular Cyber Dragon Hers. This one's just in here for support, really. Because we've only been level 1 with 100 attack, it's not really an attack one or a defense one, it's just there for support. And finally for monsters we have a Cyber Valley, which has multiple effects, so depending on which effect would work best at the time, you get a choice. Always nice to have the choice, and you just choose whatever best for the situation. So moving on to the spell cards in the deck, we first have a Cyber Emergency. I do want a second one of these in the deck, but I only have one at the minute. And this just allows you to add 1 light machine type monster that cannot be normal summoned or set, or a Cyber Dragon from deck to hand. And if it's negated by your opponent and sent to the graveyard, you can discard 1 card and add it back to your hand. So really, it's just good because you get it. You can use its effect either way. Even if it's negated, you just use it the next turn. Next we have 3 Cyber Repair Plants. Again, these are search cards. So long as you have a single Cyber Dragon in the graveyard, you can use at least 1 of its effects. But if you have 3, you get to use both, allowing you to search for cards and also send some from graveyard back into your deck. Next is Power Bond, which is a fusion card. Only works with machine monsters, and whatever you fusion with it, the attack points are doubled. The only downside is you take the original attacker's damage at the end of the turn. So this is really a last turn move, or if you're confident your opponent can't do the extra damage the following turn. So that's what you use that for. Next up is Limiter Removal. This one doubles the attack points of any machine time monster you want. I know it's all machine time monsters, isn't it? But the downside to this is it destroys all them monsters at the end of the turn. Again, it's a last turn or a really defensive card, say you need to protect yourself for the turn. And next we have 2 Mystical Space Typhoons. Again, just destroy a spell or trap card on the field. Does not negate like a lot of people believe it does. And with it being a quick play, you can use it on your opponent's turn, which is always useful. Next up we have a Poly. Everyone should know what that does. A Swords of Revealing Light, again a very defensive card, which just means your opponent can't attack for 3 turns. So it lets you set up a field. Singular Monster Reborn, just allows you to special summon from the graveyard. Really, most decks play this, I would think. Then we have a Pot of Duality, another search card. It allows you to excavate the top 3 cards, add one of them to your hand, and then shuffle the rest into your deck. Just allows you to get something extra to hand if you need it, or if you're short on cards in your hand or can't really do much, it just allows you to possibly get something to use. And next we have a Dark Hole, which just destroys all monsters on the field. Maybe not as useful now as it used to be, because a lot of high level monsters now can't be destroyed by card effects, but it can still be useful at times, and I still enjoy playing it. And then last for the spells, we have a Mystic Mine. This one I just put in here for a bit of fun. It just basically locks people out if they control more monsters than you, but it's the same for you if you control more monsters, so it's an equal hit in a way. It's just in there for fun. You don't have to play this if you don't want, but I just put it there because I wanted to. Now on to traps, and the first we have is Fiendish Chain. Again, a staple. Again, traps aren't used as much anymore because of all the hand traps and that are out there. But again, it negates effects, and that's always useful. Compulsory Evacuation Device. It just allows you to return one monster to the owner hand. It could be either your monster or your opponent's. But again, it is targeting, so a lot of high level monsters can't be targeted, but it's still useful to have in there. A Mirror Force, I think everyone knows what that does, don't need to explain it. Bottomless Trap Hole, removes some player monster after it's destroyed if they summon a monster with 1,500 or more attack. But because it does say it destroys, again, a lot of high level monsters won't be affected by this. Torrential Tribute. It's basically a Dark Hole, but a monster has to be summoned before it's activated. Then this one is one I've put in here because I find it useful, a Scrap Iron Scarecrow. If your opponent declares an attack, it targets the opponent's monster and negates the attack, but then you get to reset this card, so it's reusable turn after turn, but again it is targeting. And then lastly for trap cards, a Solemn Warning. Again, everyone should know what this does. It's a common card. So next on to the extra deck, we start off with 3 Cyber Dragon Novas, level 5 XZs. Easy to get out with this deck. I'd read the effect, but it's like 1,000,000 miles long. But really what you use this for is for the next card. Don't tend to keep this for very long because you tend to go into one of the two Cyber Dragon Infinities. This is the big boss monster for this deck, really. It just allows you to negate, really, and it gains attack depending on how many materials it has. It's just a good all-rounder card. I run 2 of them. I could run 3, but you don't tend to need to get 3 out in a game. If you get one of these out early on, it really does help, though. Next is a card I actually don't play very often in this deck, but it's in here just in case, is a Heavy Armoured Train Iron Wolf. Level 4 XZs. That's it for XZs. On to fusions, and the first is Cyber End Dragon. Everyone should know this card. If you've ever watched GX, you will definitely know it. Then we have 2 Chimera Tech Fortress Dragons. This one uses monsters off both players' field, so if you're against a machine heavy deck as well, you can use them for summoning this. And it gains 1,000 attack per monster used. So it's really easy to get a heavy hitter. Even if you just use your field, you can get it up to 5,000. If you're using your opponent's as well, you can get it up to 10,000. Really good card to have, which is why I played 2 of them. And has got me out of some sticky situations in the past. Next we have 3 Cyber Twin Dragons. This one's useful because it can attack twice per turn during the battle phase. So that's 2/8 each time, unless you limit a movement, which makes it a 5/6. Or if you're power bonded, that's 5/6 anyway. So realistically, you can do up to 11,200 damage with this one card each turn. And that's just ridiculous. So there's 3 of them in there just in case. And then on to links, Clifford Genius. Again, this one's easy to get out with this deck. Not much more to say on that one. And finally, we have Cyber Dragon Seeger. This again only takes 2 machines to get out. It becomes a Cyber Dragon when it's on the field or in the graveyard. If this card has not declared an attack, you can target 1 machine monster you control. With 2,100 or more attack for the rest of this turn, it gains 2,100. So it's good at doubling attack points, really, for a lot of monsters. Yeah. And so that's it for my Cyber Dragon deck profile. If you try this deck out, let me know in the comments below. If you think of any changes I could make to maybe make it better, again, let me know. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.